Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we really get into some rich source material, pull out those deep insights, and, try to make complex ideas feel clear and hopefully useful.
That's the goal.
Today, we're focusing on a spiritual virtue that honestly often gets just a surface-level look. We're talking about cheerfulness, specifically through the lens of the Baha'i Writings, and we're going to find out it's way more than just being in a good mood sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. For this deep dive, we've got a really inspiring set of texts to draw from. Our main guide, you could say, is the compilation, The Spirit of Baha'i Cheerfulness.
Right.
But we're also pulling from specific, powerful sources like The Wellspring of Happiness, Star of the West, the Tablets of Abdu'l-Bahá, Paris Talks, Promulgation of Universal Peace, The Hidden Words, and also Lights of Guidance.
Wow, quite a collection.
It is. Each one really offers a slightly different angle, a unique lens on this virtue. It's fascinating.
So our mission today, really, is to push past that maybe common idea of cheerfulness being, frivolous, or just like putting on a happy face when you don't feel it.
Exactly. Not superficial.
We want to explore it as what the Baha'i Writings actually describe it as.
Yeah.
A radiant, strengthening force. That sounds, pretty foundational. Something core to our spiritual well-being and how we interact with the world.
It really is. We'll try to uncover how it genuinely uplifts the soul, how it can draw hearts closer, in real connection. And crucially, how it empowers us to serve others with authentic, deep-seated joy. Not just going through the motions.
And what's so interesting, I think, is how this exploration really aims to show cheerfulness, not as something that just happens when things are going well for us.
Right, not just a result of good circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. But more as a reflection of our trust in divine wisdom, our gratitude for the blessings we do have, and importantly, our resilience when things get tough.
Yes, resilience is huge here. So, hopefully you'll have some aha moments today as we dig into what this inner light of joy truly means. How it can sustain us, even through trials.
And maybe most importantly, how you can actually cultivate it, carry it into your own daily life.
Because it's a concept that's frankly much richer and more profound than you might first think. It really offers a pathway to a kind of transformative inner peace.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. When we hear the word cheerfulness, maybe we think of a smile, an easygoing attitude, just general positivity.
Sure, the common understanding.
But the Baha'i Writings really invite us to go deeper, to fundamentally shift that view. Right from the spirit of Baha'i cheerfulness, it says this isn't just a fleeting feeling or a temporary mood. It's described as a radiant, strengthening force that uplifts the soul, draws hearts closer, and empowers us to serve with joy. So how do we even start to separate this from, say, just superficial happiness or maybe forced positivity? What makes it a force?
That's a really crucial starting point. Because calling it a radiant, strengthening force immediately elevates it, doesn't it? It's not just an emotion anymore.
Right.
It's not about ignoring difficulties or, faking it. It points to something deeper, a cultivated inner state, almost like a dynamic quality of the soul itself.
Like an internal energy source.
Kind of, yeah, like an internal generator, maybe. A wellspring that doesn't really run dry but keeps radiating outward. This kind of cheerfulness isn't really dependent on what's happening around you.
Okay.
It's a quality that flows from within, and it influences not just your own balance, your spiritual equilibrium, but also how you interact with everyone else.
So it implies stability.
Strength.
Exactly. A stable, consistent inner condition that gives you that spiritual footing, that strength, no matter the ups and downs life throws at you. It's more like an active choice, a spiritual muscle you consciously develop. So less a passing feeling, more a profound attribute, a virtue you work on. And this source also says its fundamental role is that it reflects our trust in God's wisdom, gratitude for divine blessings, and our resilience in adversity. That paints it as a real cornerstone for spiritual growth, for connection, giving us that personal stability and strength. But how exactly does it reflect trust and resilience? Can you maybe elaborate on that connection?
Well, it's all deeply interconnected. If cheerfulness reflects trust, gratitude, and resilience, then it almost becomes like a sign, an indicator of someone's spiritual maturity, their alignment with divine principles.
Okay, an indicator.
Yeah. Think about trust in God's wisdom. That implies a deep acceptance, right? Acceptance of divine decrees, even when they seem, hard or confusing from our limited view.
Right, when we don't understand why something is happening.
Exactly. When you genuinely trust there's a higher purpose, a wisdom behind it all, it becomes easier or maybe more possible to keep that inner gladness.
Yeah.
You know that even difficulties have a purpose in the grand scheme. And gratitude, of course, isn't just saying thank you. It's an active spiritual practice. It helps foster a positive outlook, helps us recognize and appreciate blessings even when things are tough.
So it shifts your focus.
It does. And then resilience in adversity. This is where that force aspect really shines. It means this deep cheerfulness isn't just wiped out by hardship.
It endures.
It endures through it. And often it becomes even more radiant because it's been tested, it's been forged in the fire. This makes it a profoundly stabilizing force, a bedrock for navigating life's inevitable bumps.
A constant wellspring.
Yes, a constant wellspring of inner strength that helps us stay firm on our spiritual path, even when those external storms are raging all around us.
That makes so much sense, framing it like that, an active reflection of these deeper spiritual qualities. And it connects straight into this next idea, which is quite striking, that cheerfulness is actually a prerequisite for receiving divine bounties.
A prerequisite. It's a powerful idea.
Abdu'l-Bahá, the son of Bahá'u'lláh, and his successor, he says something really profound about this in The Wellspring of Happiness. It's worth reading.
Please do.
He says, Abdu'l-Bahá brought to the world the message of the new revelation as glad tidings. If, he would say, this does not make you happy, what is there that will make you happy? A man ought to be happy. Because if he were not, he could not be in the frame of mind to receive the bounties poured forth from on high. Be happy, be full of joy. Be a cause of healing for every sick one, a comforter for every sorrowful one, a pleasant water for every thirsty one, a star to every horizon. Wow, that really challenges you to think about your inner state.
It's incredibly rich, isn't it? And just fundamentally transformative, this idea that cheerfulness is a prerequisite. It speaks directly to spiritual
receptivity, like being open.
Exactly. Imagine trying to catch rain in a cup, but you're holding the cup upside down.
Right. Nothing gets in.
No matter how hard it rains, that cup stays empty. In a similar way, a mind and heart that are clouded by sadness or resentment or just a lack of joy, they might be less open, less tuned in to spiritual insights or divine inspiration.
Or maybe less able to even see the blessings that are already there.
Precisely. Whereas a cheerful heart, it's like that open cup, facing upwards, ready and eager to receive. It creates an internal state, maybe like a vibration, that resonates with divine grace, allowing those bounties to actually flow in.
You're in harmony with the blessing.
Yes. You're aligning yourself to receive what's being poured forth.
So it's not passive at all. It's an active cultivation of this receptivity. He's really emphatic. Be happy, be full of joy. It sounds like a very deliberate, conscious choice you make, not just something that happens to you when things are going well. How do you even start that active cultivation, especially when, life throws curveballs daily?
You've hit on such a critical point there. It absolutely is a deliberate choice. It's an ongoing state you have to nurture. Yes, circumstances influence our mood. Of course they do.
Sure.
But this teaching is about choosing an inner orientation, a deeper commitment to cultivating joy inside, because you recognize how spiritually important it is.
So you shift focus from the external.
Right. Shift focus from external conditions, which, let's face it, are often out of our control, to our internal landscape, which we can influence.
Oh, through practice.
Yeah, practice helps, like daily gratitude, consciously focusing on serving others, consistent prayer or meditation. These things help cultivate that inner state. And the application, as the quote says, is profoundly outward focused, to be a cause of healing, a comforter, pleasant water, a star to every horizon.
So your inner cheerfulness isn't just for you.
Not at all. It radiates outwards. It transforms your interactions. It becomes a source of hope, comfort, upliftment for other people. When you have this inner light, it just naturally overflows and touches those around you.
Like a wellspring for the whole community.
Exactly. It creates a kind of spiritual magnetism, drawing others towards light and healing just through your state of being.
That's a really powerful idea. An inner cheerfulness that lights your path, but also radiates out, touches, transforms others. And this leads us right into the next big area, which often feels like a paradox to us today. Cheerfulness in adversity.
Yes, this is where it gets really fascinating.
It challenges our usual understanding of joy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Abdu'l-Bahá talks about sacrificing with joy. In Star of the West, he says, "We must all, with the utmost joy and cheerfulness, sacrifice our lives for the truth. Consider how I have left aside 1,000 works, and with the greatest attraction am writing to thee with my own hand, so that in every moment thou mayest raise a wave. Thou mayest make every possible effort. It feels counterintuitive. How can you genuinely feel utmost joy and cheerfulness when you're talking about something as intense as sacrificing your life or making every possible effort, putting aside 1,000 other things?
This is truly one of the most profound aspects of Baha'i cheerfulness. It's where its spiritual depth really shows. That apparent paradox, joy and sacrifice, it's not a contradiction.
Yeah, okay.
It's more like a powerful testament to how spiritual motivation and love can transform things. When sacrifice is done for the truth, for a higher divine purpose, it stops being just a burden or a loss.
It becomes something else.
It becomes an act of profound love, devotion, even privilege. The phrase "with the greatest attraction" is so key here.
Attraction.
Yes, it implies this deep spiritual magnetism and unwavering love for the purpose, for the divine beloved that goes way beyond personal comfort or worldly gain or even fear of hardship.
So the love fuels the joy.
Exactly. This powerful attraction fuels the joy, making the act of sacrifice feel less like a hardship and more like a joyous offering. Think about, say, a parent who joyfully sacrifices sleep and personal time for their child.
Right, out of love.
Or an artist dedicating countless hours to their work out of pure love for it. The deeper the love and attraction for the purpose, the greater the joy you find in the effort. Even if that effort asks everything of you, it becomes an act of alignment, of spiritual freedom, really.
So it's about the purpose, the destination of your heart's devotion, more than the immediate discomfort. And Abdu'l-Bahá himself is such a powerful example of this, enduring years in prison, suffering.
An incredible example.
In the tablets of Abdu'l-Bahá, he says, "Thou hast manifested cheerfulness and gladness on account of the news of my happiness." Abdu'l-Bahá, to him, prison is a court. To him, manacles and chains are the throne of ether. Afflictions and hardships do not make me weak or faint, nor do they in the slightest degree make me sad or unhappy.
Just listen to those words.
Prison is a court. Manacles and chains are the throne of ether. I mean, these are incredibly radical ways to reframe suffering and confinement. What do these metaphors tell us about his inner state, his trust in God in such, well, dire circumstances?
They're breathtaking, aren't they? Spiritually audacious. They reveal a truly transcendent inner reality. To say, prison is a court, suggests his confinement wasn't just punishment.
What a sacred space?
Perhaps. A space where truth was being affirmed, maybe where divine justice was playing out, or even where spiritual judgments were being made by God. It gives a sense of sovereign authority, of purpose, even while he was physically trapped.
He saw it differently.
He saw his prison not as a limitation, but maybe as a stage where God's purpose was unfolding. And manacles and chains are the throne of ether. This transforms symbols of utter bondage into symbols of kingship, of boundless transcendence.
Ether.
Yeah.
Like something heavenly.
Exactly. Pure, boundless, heavenly, refined. It tells us his inner state was one of complete detachment from the material world and a profound, unshakable trust in God's plan. He was so immersed in the divine will that external suffering just couldn't penetrate his core of joy. It speaks to a level of resilience where you can perceive and find joy in the divine purpose within any situation, no matter how terrible it looks from the outside. His joy wasn't despite the suffering.
But through it.
Yes, through it, serving as this incredible testament to the power of his faith and understanding.
That's a level of spiritual resilience it's hard to even imagine. For most of us, even small daily frustrations can chip away at our joy. How does one even begin to cultivate an inner state like that?
Yeah.
Where imprisonment doesn't diminish your gladness?
Well, I think it starts with a deep, unwavering conviction. Conviction in the ultimate goodness of God, and also in the temporary nature of this physical life.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Yes. For Abdu'l-Bahá, prison wasn't just walls and bars. It was a crucible for spiritual growth, a platform to show the power of faith, an opportunity for service right where he was. He lived by the principle that real happiness springs from within, from your connection to the divine, not from external comforts or freedom or the lack of difficulty.
So his spiritual vision allowed him to see things differently.
It allowed him to see the hidden blessings, the divine lessons, the broader purpose within the adversity. It involves, I think, a continuous practice of gratitude for what is, service to others wherever you are, and a radical detachment from worldly outcomes.
Focusing instead on the inner spiritual realities.
Exactly. That profound resilience comes from living in alignment with a higher spiritual purpose that just isn't affected by earthly troubles. It's a constant inner turning towards God, the source of all joy.
And his daily life, even inside prison, really highlights the practical sources of this joy. From Star of the West, he shares this. Every morning when I awoke, I praised God there was another day to serve him in his prison. Every night I thanked him to go. Every day was a day of perfect joy. My joy is from the delectable paradise. My life is maintained through the fraternization of all mankind, the progress of the cause of God, and the unity of the friends.
It's just incredible considering the circumstances.
Absolutely. What were the specific daily sources of his joy, even in that confinement? And how does it contrast so sharply with what most people usually find joy in?
What jumps out immediately is the radical redefinition of joy itself. His joy isn't coming from what he receives, comfort, freedom, possessions. It's coming fundamentally from what he gives and what he serves.
Service, praise, gratitude.
Those are his sources. He frames his prison not as deprivation, but as God's prison, a divine place for service. Most people seek joy in personal freedom, material things, recognition, no suffering, fleeting pleasures.
The usual stuff.
Right. Abdu'l-Bahá, completely differently, finds perfect joy in the very conditions of his confinement. Why? Because it gives him another day to serve God, another chance to praise him. His gratitude isn't for an easy life,
But for the opportunity.
the opportunity to live a life of divine purpose, even under duress. It's a profound shift in perspective.
And then he connects his own well-being to something much bigger, saying, my life is maintained through the fraternization of all mankind, the progress of the cause of God, and the unity of the friends.
Yes, and that's the crucial part, the expansive vision. His cheerfulness, even his life force, isn't sustained by personal comfort or getting out of prison. It's sustained by a higher purpose that transcends his individual situation, his ego.
Universal goals.
Exactly. Fraternization of all mankind, progress of the cause, unity of the friends. These are universal collective goals. They're spiritual victories happening independently of his physical freedom.
Yeah.
By tying his life, his joy, to these huge altruistic aims, he shows that true, lasting happiness comes from contributing to something far greater than yourself.
So that kind of joy is untouchable by external limits.
Because its source is internal and boundless. It's connected to the spiritual progress of all humanity.
Yeah.
It's a deeply selfless, purpose-driven joy that gives us a blueprint for finding meaning and happiness in any circumstance.
That really sounds like a joy born from deep faith and a selfless focus. And Abdu'l-Bahá also points to Baha'u'llah's own enduring joy amidst even greater, longer hardships. His imprisonments, exiles, suffering.
Yes, the ultimate example.
In Promulgation of Universal Peace, Abdu'l-Bahá says, the Blessed Perfection, Baha'u'lláh, endured hardships, yet he endured all in perfect joy and happiness. The faces are radiant, and the hearts are attracted to the kingdom of Baha. So what does this extra evidence, the radiant faces of the believers, tell us about their inner attraction to the divine, even during terrible suffering?
Those radiant faces are like visible proof, aren't they? A powerful testimony. It's not just a pleasant look you can fake. It's a genuine light that shines from a soul deeply connected to God. When hearts are attracted to the kingdom of Baha, the spiritual realm, God's kingdom, it means they're drawn to his love, his light, his wisdom, his purpose.
And that attraction changes them.
It translates into an inner joy so deep, so pervasive that it literally shines through their face, making it radiant even amidst persecution or hardship. It's evidence that real faith, real spiritual transformation goes beyond just believing things.
It impacts your whole being.
Profoundly. It makes inner joy almost tangible, something others can see and be drawn to. It's a powerful validation that true faith manifests as this unconquerable inner joy, a deep happiness that lasts and even grows when circumstances scream despair.
That's a truly fascinating idea, that our inner state can physically show up as radiance, that our faces can mirror divine beauty, which brings us right to the source and the profound purpose of this inner joy.
Yes, the core of it.
Baha'u'lláh himself, in the hidden words, gives this incredible guidance. O Son of Man, rejoice in the gladness of thine heart, that thou mayest be worthy to meet me and to mirror forth my beauty. What does that mean for us as humans, to mirror forth my beauty? And how does cultivating inner gladness actually enable that spiritual connection, that reflection of divine attributes?
This is such a central teaching in the Baha'i faith. It points to our ultimate spiritual purpose. To mirror forth my beauty means reflecting God's attributes, his perfections in our character, our actions, our very being.
Like a mirror reflecting sunlight.
Exactly like that. A clean, polished mirror doesn't create the light, but it perfectly transmits its brilliance. Similarly, we're created in God's image, with the potential to embody His qualities: love, compassion, justice, knowledge, and yes, joy.
And inner gladness is key to this.
Absolutely essential, because it cleans and polishes the spiritual mirror of the heart. If your heart is clouded by sadness or resentment, anger, preoccupation with yourself, it gets tarnished. It can't perfectly reflect that divine light.
So it implies a really deep reciprocal relationship then between our inner cheerfulness and our ability to perceive and express spiritually in the world is a profound link.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When our hearts are filled with genuine gladness, they become open, receptive, pure. This inner state makes us worthy to meet me, which isn't about a physical meeting with God.
But a spiritual closeness.
A profound spiritual communion, yes. A deeper intimacy with the divine presence. It's through this gladness that we become clearer channels for those divine virtues: kindness, patience, generosity, understanding, radiating joy to the world around us.
It's dynamic.
Very much so. The more we cultivate this deep inner gladness, the more clearly we can see and reflect God's beauty and attributes. And the more that beauty is reflected through us, the deeper and more lasting our own joy becomes. It's like a self-reinforcing upward spiral that elevates the soul.
This also gives us crucial clarity in telling the difference between true inner joy and those, more fleeting external pleasures that often grab our attention.
That distinction is vital.
Shoghi Effendi, the guardian of the Baha'i faith, clarifies it beautifully. He says, Baha'u'lláh asks us to rejoice, to live with joy and happiness despite the suffering we find here on earth. Rejoice in the gladness of thine heart. Nothing will bring you joy except from within, deep within your own heart.
Nothing except from within.
And Baha'u'lláh himself reinforces this in the hidden words. Rejoice with the joy of your own heart. If you possess the whole world, they may be momentary pleasures. They will never bring you any happiness. Go deep into thy heart. There it will spring up. A constant stream of joy will be flowing from your own heart. This is such a critical distinction for anyone looking for real, lasting happiness. It cuts right through.
It truly is. And it's a teaching that challenges the very foundation of how many societies tell us to pursue happiness. This contrast between fleeting external pleasures and that constant stream of joy from deep within your own heart is absolutely central.
Right.
External pleasures, getting stuff, wealth, fame, sensory things, even just having things go your way all the time, they are inherently temporary.
Dependent on circumstances.
Exactly. Dependent on external conditions, which always change. They can be taken away just as quickly as they appear. Bahá'u'lláh is saying even if you have the whole world, those things can never deliver lasting happiness.
Momentary maybe, but not lasting.
They might give you a quick high, some comfort, a distraction maybe. But they won't provide that deep, unwavering joy that truly nourishes the soul.
So if those external things are just momentary, where does this constant stream of joy actually come from? How do we, tap into it?
The source is absolutely internal. He tells us, go deep into thy heart. This isn't just waiting around. It's an active inner journey exploring your spiritual core, not chasing things outside yourself. Mm-hmm. The metaphor of a spring is perfect. A spring is a natural source, right? It flows continuously, regardless of whether it rained recently.
Right, it's independent.
Similarly, true, lasting happiness is an internal wellspring, an innate spiritual capacity that you access, you cultivate, you protect from within. It's not something you buy or acquire from outside.
It's something you uncover inside.
Yes, uncover, nurture, and draw from your own spiritual essence. That's why it's constant and independent of external events, because its source is infinite, divinely given right there in your soul. It's always there, waiting.
That's a powerful invitation, really, to look inward and maybe reevaluate what we're chasing in life. And if this is true, then God's ultimate wish must be for everyone to be happy, for universal love. Abdu'l-Bahá expresses this so beautifully in Promulgation of Universal Peace.
Such a beautiful passage.
The earth is one native land, one home, and all mankind are the children of one Father. It is the wish of our Heavenly Father that every heart should rejoice and be filled with happiness. The best way to thank God is to love one another. How does cheerfulness, this internal spring, connect directly to the unity of humanity, to the idea of earth as truly one home?
This passage powerfully links our individual cheerfulness straight to a global vision of unity and peace. If the earth is one native land and we're all children of one father, then our individual states of being have a profound impact on the collective well-being of everyone.
Our inner state affects the whole.
Imagine a society where hearts are genuinely filled with joy, flowing from that inner wellspring. Such a society would naturally be more unified, harmonious, peaceful. When individuals cultivate this deep cheerfulness, they're naturally less likely to get caught up in conflict, envy, resentment, despair. They're more inclined towards cooperation, understanding, empathy. Cheerfulness, in this sense, acts like a spiritual lubricant for human interaction.
It smooths things over.
It fosters an atmosphere where unity can actually grow, dissolving those emotional and spiritual barriers that sadness or frustration or negativity can build between people. It's a vital ingredient for global togetherness.
And the ultimate way to thank God, he says, is to love one another.
Yeah.
How does cultivating inner cheerfulness help with that? Does it actually make us more capable of loving?
Oh, absolutely. When our hearts are genuinely cheerful, when they're light and pure, they are naturally more open to love. It's incredibly hard to truly love others, to practice real empathy and forgiveness, if you're consumed by inner sadness or bitterness or just the lack of personal joy.
Cheerfulness creates space for love.
It creates a positive emotional and spiritual space inside us that makes empathy, forgiveness, patience, connection much, much easier. It helps us see the good in others, overlook small faults, approach people with genuine generosity, warmth, and open heart.
Mm-hmm.
If joy reflects divine attributes, if it's how we mirror God's beauty, then radiating cheerfulness is a direct way of showing God's love in the world through our own being.
So it becomes an active expression of gratitude.
Yes. Active, living gratitude, not just for personal blessings, but for the whole human family and our potential for unity. Loving one another then becomes this natural, almost effortless outflow from a joyful, thankful, receptive heart.
So cheerfulness isn't just personal. It's a powerful force for connection and unity radiating outward. Which brings us to cheerfulness in action. Its impact on service and all our relationships.
Yes, how it plays out practically.
Yeah. Abdu'l-Bahá, in Paris Talks, makes this really heartfelt plea, almost like a divine instruction. Never is it the wish of Abdu'l-Bahá to see any being hurt, nor will he be a source of grief to anyone, for there is no greater gift than being a source of joy to the hearts. I beg of God that you will be bringers of joy, even as are the angels in heaven.
Such a powerful statement.
What does he mean? No greater gift. What's the immense value of actively bringing joy to others and comparing it to angels? What does that tell us?
Well, it highlights cheerfulness not just as something we have inside, but as an active, positive force we're meant to use in the world. To say, there is no greater gift than being a source of joy to the hearts really underscores its supreme value spiritually and humanly.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the huge, almost instant impact one genuinely joyful, uplifting person can have on a room, on a tough meeting, on someone struggling with sadness.
It changes the atmosphere.
Completely. It's a selfless act that eases suffering, inspires hope, lightens burdens. It's like spiritual healing.
Mm-hmm.
And comparing it to angels suggests this pure, selfless, divine quality.
Right. Angels as messengers of good.
Exactly. Angels are often seen as messengers of divine mercy, peace, joy, beings whose purpose is to transmit goodness. So for us to be bringers of joy, even as are the angels, means we're called to actively embody this quality, to consciously try to dispel sorrow and bring light into others' lives without expecting anything back.
So we become agents of divine comfort.
Yes. Agents of divine comfort and upliftment in a world that desperately needs it.
That's a radical call, really.
Right.
Moving beyond just not causing harm to actively generating joy. And Abdu'l-Bahá uses even stronger imagery for this radical cheerfulness in practice. It's almost alchemical.
It really is.
So far as ye are able, ignite a candle of love in every meeting, and with tenderness rejoice and cheer ye every heart. Should any heap his blame upon you, praise ye him. Should he offer you a deadly poison, give him honey instead.
Yeah.
Be ye his medicine. Perhaps such ways will make this darksome world turn bright at last. I mean, the imagery is intense. Praise ye him for blame, give him honey for poison, be ye his medicine. How can we practically apply such an extreme approach day to day? And what kind of world-changing effect could this radical cheerfulness and love really have, making the darksome world turn bright?
This passage is like a blueprint for revolutionary personal behavior, kind of spiritual martial art. It goes way beyond just being polite or superficially cheerful. It calls for a transformative, almost alchemical response to negativity, to aggression, to malice.
Like changing lead into gold?
Something like that. When someone blames you, the normal reaction is defensiveness, right? Anger, hitting back. But to praise ye him instead, that completely disarms the attack with this unexpected, illogical act of goodwill.
Throws them off balance.
Exactly. Not by fighting, but by offering love. Similarly, give him honey instead of poison means consciously choosing to meet malice or harm with sweetness, healing, kindness. To be ye his medicine means actively counteracting the negativity with a balm of understanding and compassion. It's about fundamentally changing the interaction itself.
So you break the cycle of negativity.
You break the vicious cycle. Negativity, retribution, escalation. You stop it in its tracks. You shift the dynamic from conflict towards potential reconciliation, from bitterness to sweetness, from despair maybe towards hope. By consciously choosing to respond with love, cheerfulness, generosity, you're not just protecting your own inner peace, you're offering the other person a profound chance. A chance to reflect, maybe soften, maybe even change their own behavior.
And that's how the darksome world turns bright.
That's precisely how. Darkness keeps going when it's fed more darkness, when its own negativity is mirrored back. But if light is consistently shown in the face of darkness, if love meets hatred, it starts, slowly but surely, to dissipate the gloom. One interaction, one heart at a time.
A ripple effect.
A powerful ripple effect of spiritual transformation that collectively can light up the whole world. It takes immense spiritual courage, inner strength, no doubt, but the potential is just boundless.
That's a truly beautiful and inspiring vision, a practical path to change. And it's clear cheerfulness isn't just about reacting to negativity. It's presented as a core character trait that underpins effective service and really attracts people.
Yes, it's foundational.
Abdu'l-Bahá states, teaching the cause of God is not only through the tongue, it is through happiness of nature, kindness and sympathy, good fellowship, trustworthiness, and lastly, speech. He puts happiness of nature, our cheerfulness, first, before kindness, sympathy, fellowship, trustworthiness, and then finally, speech. What does that specific order imply? That our inner state, our characters, may be the primary way we teach or attract hearts, even more than words.
That order is incredibly significant. It radically redefines what it means to teach a spiritual cause, or even just to influence people for good. Usually we think teaching is mostly words, arguments, speeches.
Right, explaining things.
But Abdu'l-Bahá puts these character qualities, happiness of nature, kindness, sympathy, good fellowship, trustworthiness, before speech. It implies our inner state, our very being, our embodied virtues are the most powerful and effective way to teach. Our happiness of nature, our inherent cheerfulness, is like the foundation the others rest on.
So it's almost like a prerequisite for the other virtues to really land, to resonate with people.
Or precisely. If someone is genuinely cheerful, if they radiate that happiness of nature, then their kindness, their sympathy, their fellowship, their trustworthiness, they all become incredibly compelling, authentic. Their inherent radiance, their genuine joy, that's what first attracts hearts. It draws people in, opens them up to receive whatever message might come later. Speech then becomes the explanation of a life already being lived, a truth already embodied.
Actions speak louder than words.
In a way, yes. It suggests a life lived with these virtues, especially this deep cheerfulness, is a far more powerful testament to spiritual teachings than any amount of just talking about them. Our character becomes a living sermon.
Making us authentic examples.
Compelling examples of what these teachings can actually do in a person's life. People are drawn not just by what you say, but by who you are, by the light you radiate, especially your cheerfulness. It fosters real human connection and shows a visible transformation.
And this emphasis on visible transformation links right into the idea of living the life, which comes up so often in the Baha'i Writings.
A central concept.
Lights of Guidance says, the world needs radiance. Live the life, have our lives saturated, that people cannot fail to see a joy in our character and work. We shall have perfect unity and harmony. Unless we can show this transformation, the Baha'i teachings are but a name to us. How does living the life equate to radiating a joy so deep that others cannot fail to see it? And what about that sobering consequence? If we lack this visible change, the teachings become but a name.
Living the life means embodying these spiritual principles and virtues like cheerfulness in every single part of your daily life, not just in theory, but in real practical ways. When our lives are saturated with virtues like cheerfulness, it means they soak through our character, our actions, so thoroughly, so authentically, that they become undeniably visible to everyone we meet.
People just see it.
They cannot fail to see this joy because it shows up tangibly in our demeanor, our interactions, how we handle challenges, our patience, even our work ethic. It's this authentic, palpable sense of spiritual health and vitality, an unforced radiance that speaks volumes without needing words.
So it's not something you can just switch on or pretend. It has to be deeply ingrained.
Exactly. It's an internal transformation that creates an external, observable result. And the consequence of lacking it is, pretty sobering. Unless we can show this transformation, the Baha'i teachings are but a name to us.
Just empty words.
It means without those observable changes in our character, without that radiance of joy in our lives, the teachings stay abstract. They lack real power, impact, authenticity. They become just words on paper, a philosophy, not a living, transforming force that can genuinely inspire and uplift others.
So the proof is in the living.
The teachings' authenticity and power are shown most convincingly through the transformed, joyful lives of the people who follow them. And furthermore, this individual radiance contributes directly to that collective, perfect unity and harmony.
How so?
Well, a community of people radiating inner joy, living genuinely transformed lives, they will naturally experience deep unity. They'll attract others. They become a real, tangible model for the kind of world humanity is searching for.
It's abundantly clear then how important cheerfulness is, not just individually, but for the health, the unity of whole communities, and really the world. Abdu'l-Bahá even talks about the refreshing power of joy in collective gatherings from his own experience. It's quite moving, especially given how much he traveled.
Yes, his example is powerful.
In promulgation of universal peace, he reflects, it is to experience this great joy, although weary from my long voyage upon the sea. Tonight I am in the greatest happiness, looking upon this concourse of God. What does that tell us about the unique, refreshing power of spiritual community? That shared purpose can override even major physical tiredness.
This passage is just a beautiful testament to the power of spiritual synergy, of human connection for a higher purpose. He says he's physically weary, genuinely exhausted probably, yet he feels the greatest happiness seeing a concourse of God. It powerfully shows that spiritual joy, especially when felt in community with a shared purpose, can not only overcome but actively rejuvenate you from physical fatigue and worldly stress.
A concourse of God, not just any crowd.
Right. It implies a gathering united by a common spiritual purpose, a collective heart drawn towards the divine. It's a gathering where people reflect those divine qualities back to each other, amplifying their collective spiritual energy.
So being in that kind of community spiritually aligned actually boosts personal happiness and renews energy.
Absolutely. There's unique spiritual refreshment, a revitalization that comes from being among fellow believers, from feeling that profound unity, mutual support, shared commitment to something bigger.
Like individual lights combining.
Yes. Creating a greater illumination, amplifying personal happiness through a collective spiritual current. This shared joy strengthens individual faith, renews your resolve, reminds you you're part of something much larger, much more powerful than just yourself. This communal joy recharges your capacity for service, for growth, for resilience. It reminds us that while cheerfulness starts within, it really flourishes, gets amplified, becomes a truly dynamic force within a loving, unified spiritual community. It's a glimpse of the joy humanity could experience if united.
And connecting this to the biggest picture, this deep cheerfulness isn't just for us or our community. It's presented as this refreshing, active force for the whole world. Shoghi Effendi offers a powerful prayer that really ties it all together.
A beautiful prayer.
May the Spirit of Baha'u'lláh refresh and cheer your hearts, enable you to win memorable victories for his faith, and dispel the gloom which man's disobedience is creating in the world. This directly links personal cheerfulness, divinely inspired, to global impact, saying it can actively dispel the gloom of humanity's huge challenges.
This final quote really brings home the grand universal scale of cheerfulness's impact. It's not just a nice personal feeling or a way to cope. It's presented as a vital, active part of the spiritual transformation of the whole planet. The gloom which man's disobedience is creating, that refers to all the suffering, conflict, injustice, despair that comes from humanity straying from divine principles, from ethical living. It's a collective spiritual sickness affecting everyone.
Right.
So for the Spirit of Baha'u'lláh to refresh and cheer your hearts means divine grace empowers individuals to rise above that gloom, to be filled with a joy that transcends the external negativity and to become beacons of hope.
And it says this joy enables them to win memorable victories. What kind of victories is he talking about?
Exactly. Cheerfulness, fueled by divine spirit, becomes an empowering tool, almost a spiritual weapon, for achieving memorable victories, not necessarily military or political ones.
But spiritual victories.
Triumphs of spirit, yes. Victories of unity, of love, of spiritual education, of personal and collective transformation right in the face of widespread spiritual darkness. When individuals radiate this deep, divinely inspired cheerfulness, they become living examples of hope.
Drawing others towards the light.
And actively contributing to the spiritual upliftment of the whole planet. Effectively dispelling that collective gloom, one heart, one community at a time. It suggests our inner state of joy isn't just a private feeling or choice,
but a spiritual responsibility.
A profound spiritual responsibility with far-reaching transformative consequences for the well-being and unity of all humanity. It's the light that overcomes the darkness.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the profound virtue of cheerfulness, let's just reflect on how multifaceted it really is. We've explored today how it's clearly not just a superficial smile, not a fleeting feeling.
Not at all.
But a deep inner wellspring of joy. A radiant, strengthening force that really underpins our spiritual resilience, enables truly selfless service, and radiates outward to transform our interactions, our communities, maybe even the world.
We've seen how this virtue, really rooted in trust in God's wisdom and deep gratitude for blessings, allows us to face adversity with real strength. How it helps us mirror divine beauty and serve as an active light for others.
Right. It's a core attribute of a life lived in service to something higher, making our very character, our demeanor, a living testament to the spiritual teachings.
And remember that core message. True. Lasting joy springs from deep within your own heart. It's independent of external circumstances. And it's a profound gift we can consciously choose to cultivate and then generously share.
It is, as Abdu'l-Bahá assures us, our Heavenly Father's wish that every single heart should rejoice and be filled with happiness, and our love for one another is ultimately the best, the most beautiful way we can thank Him.
So as you reflect on all this, maybe consider, what does this mean for you in your daily life? How can you cultivate this profound cheerfulness in your own heart, make it that constant stream, and then let it saturate your life, becoming that undeniable source of radiance and upliftment for the world around you?
Perhaps the next time you face a challenge, big or small, you might consider responding not just with resignation, but tapping into that inner wellspring of joy, knowing it's a reflection of divine attributes and a force that truly uplifts everyone around you.
It's a powerful thought to carry forward.
Join us next time for another devotional deep dive right here on The Deep Dive. We'll continue exploring these spiritual virtues from the Baha'i Writings. Our next topic is going to be the virtue of cleanliness.
Another important one.
Until then, try to carry the light of cheer in your hearts and let it ignite courage and unity in your lives.